Hi, my name's Lauren. I'm the Manager of Customer Success here at Infigo. Today I'm joined by Sarah, the Director of Client Services from Positive. And today we'll be talking about how Positive are using our web-to-print platform to serve customers such as Medtronic and Hollywood Bowl. So let's start with the big picture. Sarah, I'd love to hear how would you describe Positive today, who you serve and what you're best known for with your clients.
So I would describe Positive as being a full-service creative and production partner. We deliver lots of different solutions for our customers, anything from design, print and production, visual merchandising, point of sale, web to print, direct mail, installation. Our services are so vast. We do a lot. We're not just your average printer, shall we say. We are probably best known for executing high quality campaigns, brands in sectors such as retail, beauty, fragrance, leisure, healthcare, estate agencies. Again, the list goes on and on and on. We have built a very good reputation for ourselves with combining creative thinking with operational excellence. We like to always say we are the partner that does. You know, we do really care. I think that's one outstanding thing that we do. Everybody that works at Positive generally cares about the work that we take on, the work that comes through our production, and the team that service it.
Yeah, there's a big passion behind it.
There is a big passion. I think that comes from, it's a family-run company. Yeah. It's been going for 32 plus years. It's sort of ingrained into all of us, really, about the care and the passion that goes with it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And when did you start with the business?
Year-wise, I can't remember, but I know I've been there for about 14 years now.
Wow.
But I started as like a data entry inputter when I first started. I literally started my career and I've worked my way up the ladder.
So you've really seen the full production
I've seen the
cycle.
full thing, and I do really think that's helped. So I actually started on the shop floor with the guys, actually putting letters into envelopes, doing the data entry side of things. Then I was talking to a lot of the customers over the phone and stuff, and then my skills, if we can say that, got highlighted from the management and from the directors. And then I moved into being an account, like an account junior, an account handler. Then I went to an account manager. Then I was a sales manager. Then obviously COVID happened and we had to have like a bit of a restructure within the business. So I became more direct with the customers, sort of, you know, making sure their journey every day with us was handheld. And I was more of a senior account manager, I would say. And then 2-3 years ago, I was promoted to Director of Client Services.
Ooh, there you go.
I know, right? So when I say I've literally been through every single part of Positive and worked my way through to really understand everything that's going on, that is how my career has gone, really, to be honest.
It's fantastic. What a success story.
Yeah, really. I suppose it just shows no matter what you do, you don't have to stay there if you don't want to, and you can really build that.
Yeah, that's perfect. Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. So, thinking about how things worked before you pushed for more ordering online, what did a typical job look like back then, and where did it feel more frustrating for your team or for your customers?
So, before we went online, we were extremely manual. So, historically, everything would come through email, phone call, you know, picking up the phone, being like, I need to order X, Y, and Z, and I need it here by tomorrow or the day after, and everything had to be literally hand-fed into the production team, into the shop floor, making sure everything goes through. And we took a good look at ourselves and thought, if we continue this way, absolutely fine. We were hitting all of our KPIs, all of our customers were happy. Yeah. But it's to the case of, where do we grow? How do we grow? How do we make, you know, a client not have to pick up the phone and be like, where's my job in the production process? Or can I see the artwork? Or something like that. Like, we needed to make it so they're not wasting their time as well. Like, you know, everybody's busy nowadays, no matter what you do. If you said to someone, oh, have you got a lot on today? It's yes, because everybody does. So I think for us, it was a big part of, you know, listening to what our customers wanted, how their growth was going to be happening over the next couple of years, and then how we needed to embed that with us. I would say before we sort of went online, it was very, very manual. As the demand grew for particular clients, you mentioned some of them, Medtronic and Hollywood Bowl. We had to grow with them.
Yeah.
And to do that, it was, we needed quicker turnaround times. They needed visibility. They needed the trust and security that if they had a centre or a hospital up in Scotland, for example, they had the same branding, the same message down in the south. So, with all the will in the world, if there's a centre, they may need something extremely quickly. And it's about locking that brand down so that they can't go and run an offer for £1 kind of thing. So it's all locked on that system.
Yeah.
So I would say before, extremely manual, extremely handheld. We had to have a lot of client service managers. And you still need that with our clients. You still need a lot of that. But to take out the handheld, the bits that don't quite need to have hourly
like manual touch points.
Manual touch points. That's really what the online ordering has grown us as a business, really, to be honest, and has really secured our spot in the market, shall we say?
Yeah, definitely. Taking a bit more of a deep dive into that, you said that you kind of noticed that there was a point in time where you had to grow with those businesses, those large-scale enterprise businesses, shall we say. So was there a particular moment in particular that really stood out to you that we do need to make this change, and how do we make that change?
So I think, obviously, we worked with clients years and years ago, such as like Nuffield Health and places like that. They started off with only 15 centres. It was fine to be like manual, it was okay, everything was going, and then like overnight they grew into hospitality, more corporate, the entity side of things. So it was like, right, okay, this cannot be done with 2 client service managers. That needs to have an online platform. So it was like, right, okay, look at that, look at what they're going to need, what products are they going to need. People don't want to be ringing up for 50 leaflets. It's not part of a critical value, it's not how they should be spending their time. When you can go online within 10 seconds and order what you require. And I think that's where we looked at it and thought, right, okay, we've got to get a system that's going to grow us, it's going to help us, it's going to benefit us. And that's really how our online platform started many, many years ago. And then it's evolved from there. And that's how Infigo came along really with us and on our journey, because we knew we couldn't stand still, and Positive is not about standing still. We're always striving for the next thing. We like to take our clients to the next level. What can we do better? How can we do it? We always like to take on constructive feedback, criticism, because nobody's perfect, and it's about how you can continually improve with your clients.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's definitely a big element of being adaptable, and with that growing and being scalable with your clients.
Definitely.
Following them on that journey path, but also taking them a step forward in that growth that they can take with you as well. Yeah,
100%. And, it's only going to benefit them and their team and their staff. And, when you've got sales reps out on the field, they don't have time to be calling up and being like, right, I've got a meeting in 2 days, I need X, Y and Z delivered to the hotel or to the venue or to my house, for example. Whereas they can literally go on their phone, order what they need, and it'll be there within 24 to 48 hours.
You've got some really clear goals around self-service and scalability, as we just touched on there. So when you think about self-service, smaller clients and building scalable infrastructure, what does success look like for you over time and over the next couple of years?
So let's say the next 12 to 24 months, Positive expects, and we want to, have our online capabilities grow. We want to reshape them. We want to really make a competitive stride within the industry, I would probably say. The key differences that we want to include, that we want to grow, is obviously the speed, the efficiency of deliveries, the ability to scale across complex clients. Not every client is the same. You cannot have the same system for every single client because it doesn't work. It doesn't work with their KPIs, it doesn't work with their fundamentals. We want seamless integration of creativity, production and ordering, and more of like a hybrid model, I would probably say. So to combine high touch services but with a digital convenience as well. So how frustrating it can be sometimes when you've got multiple elements that come across a campaign. Well, we want all of that campaign on the system, not just one element of it, all of it on there from start to finish. and it's literally 3 clicks, it's done.
That full automation
That
for all the services that they require.
Service is what we want, because for us, you know, from a financial side of things, it gives us an improved margin on the smaller jobs, because there's not so much manual intervention. We don't have to have a client service manager or an account handler literally sitting there processing admin work all for 8 hours a day. We don't need to have that when it's online. It needs to be scalable. You know, we can't just have something that you buy off a shelf and hope for the best kind of thing. We need to be able to scale it, and I think that's a big thing that we're wanting to do. We don't want to come across like other companies where it's just this is what you buy, this is what you have, this is it. That's not what we're about. Like I said, Positive are always looking for continual growth, and to continually be better and better our customers. Yeah, like I said, just be seamless throughout. Seamless from when the client onboards, seamless when we're building the storefront, seamless when it then goes into production, to delivery, to sign off, to everything. Just to be as competitive, as flexible, as great as we can be, and that as Positive are.
Love that. So bringing it to technology then, that supports all of this,
Yes.
Where does Infigo alongside printIQ sit in that strategy?
Like I said previously, we have had online platforms for a very long time.
Yeah.
And we were with a company called PageFlex before, and we sort of looked at where we needed to grow, what we needed to do, and we knew that we couldn't use those current systems to get where we needed to be. So we got in touch with Infigo, we were looking around the market, and you guys are central to what we need to do and how we need to grow. We wanted a partner that is growing continually and doesn't stay stagnant. And I think Infigo really hits that nail on the head. You know, I remember when I first sat around the table with Infigo, can't even think how many years ago now, but when we first sat around that table and it was like, right, okay, this is where we are, where can Infigo take us? And that map and that journey was like, okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to have to do it properly. Like, we're going to have to dedicate time to it. We're going to have to really improve ourselves to improve everything else. So yeah, you guys are literally central and essential to our growth. And all that's going to do is enable our customers, our clients, to have the confidence in us, which then gives the confidence in you and the software that you guys provide and everything else that goes into it, because it's not just a plug and play software. It's the continual development, it's the continual updates, it's the network that you guys have. Because obviously one client might be doing something, you share that with us and we're like, oh, I could see that working for one of our brands, kind of
100%.
thing. And how we can embed that and how we can work together to get that, you know, to really work for the configuration, for the portals, for everything. You guys are there on our journey with us.
Oh, definitely. I would say that even though we have our clients are almost a community within the industry. And with the clients that we have, I mean, we branch all across the world, essentially. And the client base that we have are so different. I think we have groups of clients that are similar, but no client is exactly the same. And I think because of that, that really drives our innovation as a business to find different ways that the system can work with that business structure.
100%.
And with that, it generates so much ideas through the conversations that we're having that we really do pick up on key elements of where we think this might work for Positive, or we might think this works for another business, or where you can provide insight of how things have worked with you, particularly to other customers as well. So
yeah,
I really just think it is a bit of a community hub of constant learning, growth, adaptability, because you know what we're really striving for is to make this journey as easy for you, but also as easy for your customers as well. So I feel really that's where we really work together.
That's what a really good thing. Like, you know, when we met, when you came on board, and when we were like working together, I think the key thing that I said to you was we just need an open communication path.
Oh,
like,
definitely, yeah.
It just needs to work both ways. If there's something new, tell me.
Yeah.
Like, where can we go with it?
Share that
How
knowledge.
Yeah, and I think that's what Infigo does great. You guys do share. You do, you know, promote. You do, you know, doing stuff like this, for example.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
It's all about sharing our experiences. You know, we're not a web-based company kind of thing, so it's all new for us as well. And how how we slot into the different softwares, how we, the different services, how that all builds in together. It's a key part of everything to keep all them clogs moving along.
Yeah, definitely that.
To become who we are.
Say it about myself.
Yeah, it's literally like building the jigsaw puzzle, really, to be honest, to make sure that we sit in the background and then the clients get everything they want before they even think about wanting it.
This is the thing,
kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's
no,
always nice to go to them and be like, oh, did you know we can do this? That's how it's done.
Yeah. Before
they even think about what they want.
Exactly. It's bringing it to the table and making them think about things as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's about empowering them. It's about bringing their vision, their style to life for what they want to do. I think that's a key part of everything, really. Yeah,
I think this is what excites me about working with you, is that there's so much passion behind it. There's so much thought that goes into it. You're always thinking about the next 6 months ahead. How can we work with this particular client? How can we make it a little bit more bespoke? It's just there's a full strategy in place to kind of drive the future development for you and the growth of your clients. And it's a real
100%.
Great thing to see.
One of our biggest successes, I would probably say, is our customer retention, and that is down to the amazing team, the amazing service that we provide. But without our suppliers, our providers, we wouldn't then be able to give that excellence. So without, like I said, all those clogs piecing together, so without Infigo, without the software that you guys provide, we wouldn't be able to take our clients to the next level.
Yeah.
So it's working together, it's being the partners, it's building a strong relationship and open relationship to get that to work.
Yeah. Right, so Sarah, talk me through the in-house expertise that you have.
So I think a key success for us was actually having a little bit of development capabilities in-house. We needed a lot of internal expertise, I would probably say, to be able to grow, to launch the new customer portals quickly. A big thing of what the team promotes this side of our business is for the flexibility and customizability. That's a big part of what we say to new clients when we're onboarding them, is it's not just a one-stop shop. We can obviously brand it to you, but we can really make it customizable. So if you want something completely different to somebody else, that's fine. We can do that. And I think by having that in-house and being able to have the team to support that, it's a case of it can be done quickly. It can, be done flexibly. It's not a case of, just taking somebody else's platform and then reskinning it for somebody else. And I think having somebody in-house, having the team in-house with, a more dedicated lead, I would probably say, it means we can adapt our workflows to every customer. We have obviously different SLAs for each customer, how things work through production, because they all have different products, they all have different things that come through. And having, implemented workflows, implemented how it comes from the customer into the workflow stream, into the production floor, being printed, being cut, being boxed, being shipped. It's literally, by having that dedicated team, it's making those seamless points work in reality. It's all very well and good having a storyboard and it all looks amazing on paper, but I think without having the amazing team that we have, none of that would actually come to fruition, really. It means we continuously improve our digital outlook. It can, it really does reduce our reliance on external development, but being able to have that as a secondary. Everybody has SLAs. You guys have SLAs. And there might be one small little thing where it's just like so frustrating because we can't get it fixed. And it's like, to me, I'd be like, oh, it looks so simple, guys. It's just a button, like kind of thing. What do you mean we can't just fix it like that? But by having somebody internally, they can, look at that straight away. We don't have to wait whatever an SLA call out time is or something like that. And it just gives us that flexibility. It gives us that trust, reassurance. I think it reassures our clients, if they are having a little problem, they can go on the online chat. They can pick up the phone and talk to a human. It's not the case of being an Autobot You know, when you go online and it's like, oh, look at our FAQ sheet or something. When you're online shopping or something like that, it's so frustrating. I just want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And I think by having digital presence, but then having a personable presence goes hand in hand with the platform. And we excel at that. I'm going to blow our own trumpet. We do excel at that. Our team are amazing with the customers. They're amazing with everybody. And my CSM team, they might not be able to answer the question. So they'll go and speak to the dev team and be like, right, I've got this problem. What do I do? What does the client do? And it's fixed. Either there and then or within 24 hours or something like that. So yeah, having in-house is great. It gives us everything that we require. But knowing that we have the backup with Infigo is another great part of it as well. Yeah. Because it's literally surrounds everybody with the reassurance that we are going to get what we want. We are going to have the continual moving forward. You know, it might not be right now, but it might be the next quarter or the quarter after that. And we've got like a development plan, which is fantastic. To know that we're not just going to stay stagnant is fantastic.
A clear success strategy plan moving forward, is that
100%. And, you know, with that, it allows us to respond, it allows us to grow, it meets their requirements and hopefully exceeds their requirements.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Great to hear. Can you tell me a little bit more? So since setting up these portals for your clients, getting storefronts whipped up really quickly, of course, what's the difference that you're noticing on a day-to-day in how you work and how you're able to serve your customers now?
So I would probably say, instead of trying to replace the service, the technology has only enhanced it. So it frees up time for the customers to have, you know, hit their KPIs, do what they need to do, have their creative flow. But then when we look at it internally, by having the online portals, it reduces email traffic, it reduces the admin, it reduces the hand holding for smaller campaigns or smaller jobs that doesn't really need it. We can have faster turnaround times. We can standardise workflows. We can standardise elements of the portal, of the buying experience, I would probably say. And it just gives that customer improved control, improved flexibility, and enhance their levels of relationships, buying, how they go about their day, I would probably say, for improvement and moving it forward. That's one thing that we've really noticed. And when we done the upgrades with Infigo, when we switched over, it became a lot more customer friendly facing. You know, not so many clicks, not so bulky, not so square, should we say? Not so square, not so plain. It was really like, right, 3 clicks, you're done. If you want to have more processes, you know, if you want to be able to input a PO number, or if you want to be able to have an approval process in there, all of that can be done. But if you just literally want to use it as a buy-in platform, it's 3 clicks, you're done.
That's one of the great things about Infigo is just how customizable it is. There's a scenario for everything that you can kind of customize with your customers as well.
And if it's, you know, it's about adapting it. So if, you know, they've got an idea in their head about how they want to execute it, it's okay, talk me through that, and then we'll come and speak to Infigo and be like, right, this is where we're at, this is what the client wants, how can we get there? Or what steps do we need to put in place to be able to build it? Is that going to be something that's now, or is it going to need development work? And I think by having that open relationship with Infigo, it's literally, Sarah, it's not a right now, but it's something that's been built on within 2 months or 3 months. And having that open comms, I can literally go back to the customer and be like, right, okay, it is something that can be done. It might be able to be done now, but it might be in a couple of weeks or a couple of months down the line. And I think being open and upfront with them from the very beginning just enhances that relationship. It gives the comms from the very beginning. Which is great, which is what they want to move it forward, really.
Love that. Can you tell me a little bit more about your onboarding process with setting up a new customer with the Infigo portals that you're using?
Yeah, of course. So what we would do is, let's just say, in an ideal world, the sales team or a customer would come to us, which would be great, and they would say, right, we've got multi-sites or multi-sales reps across the UK or Europe, for example, and they serve multiple locations. For example, a customer that we onboarded this time last year, they're in healthcare, so they provide healthcare products to the NHS, to private, and they have reps that go around the UK and obviously promote their services for that hospital or that surgery to purchase from. So it's a case of going to that client, listening to their requirements of, they have no idea how to keep control of their brand. They had no idea of budget controls, how they can make sure those reps can get online and have their products within 72 hours.
Yeah.
Because they were facing lead times with a previous supplier of 10 to 15 days. And it was like, when you're listening to that, you're like, wow, 10 to 15 days, yeah, no wonder you guys can't keep control of what you need. So it was listening to all of their pain points of, time to market, not being able to keep control of brand, not being able to keep control of budget. I had no idea what stock they were holding. How could they have a stock management system and an online ordering into one? Because they were running off 3 different services. So I'm sitting in this meeting, listening to this customer, and I'm like, right, okay, I can solve that, we can solve that. How can Infigo help us build on certain parts of it? So it's a case of coming away, meeting with our internal team, speaking through the process of, right, okay, we need to get a site built, we need to get it done within a relatively quick time frame to prove that we are the provider that can speed up their processes that they're having, and taking their stock that they currently have, so it's not, throwing everything away and starting again, and then speaking with Infigo, with you guys and the development team here, to really be like, right, how can we have the stock side, the print on demand side, seamlessly join into one and be able to then report on it. So we built them a site within, I think it was about 10 to 14 working days. We got the site built, fully skinned, all of their products online, from receiving them from the other supplier, implementing stock buying, like rules and regs. So they couldn't order 1,000 products, because why does any sales rep need 1,000 of a leaflet? That's what they were very concerned about. It was sales reps or whoever was just purchasing stock and then keeping it in their garage or keeping it in their car.
So it gave them more control over.
So they needed to get control. They needed to understand what they were actually spending on print, because they were just continually doing reprints, and it was like, why? Because they weren't seeing enough ROI from their side to justify how much they were putting into print. So we built them the system. It had stock management in. Certain reps could only order certain products. Certain divisions could only order their own stuff. They couldn't order for somebody else and try and sneak it through the marketing line and all sorts of stuff like that. It was really locking the system down, but giving it flexibility at the same time. Putting points on there of one of their products, pens. It always makes me laugh, because I just think, a pen, how random. But they went through thousands of pens, branded pens, constantly. And it was like, what are you doing with these pens? So it was having the flexibility to be able to be like, right, you've got 50 reps, they can only order 100 pens every month. And that's locked down. And then at the first of every month, it reignites again, they can order another 100 pens. By doing that, we save the customer thousands of pounds just from not ordering pens every quarter or every year or every month kind of thing. And then watching their lead time for printed material go from 10 to 15 working days down to 72 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, so from time of order, we have like a certain cut-off point throughout the day. But yeah, we managed to get their stock, their print and their stock down to 72 working hours.
That's a massive impact that's had.
Yeah, it was huge for them. It meant they could have the flexibility, but also encourage their team to plan better.
Yeah.
So, they are locked down for pens. So how many conferences are you doing this month? Order within enough time. So you're not chasing your own tail, should we probably say, for them. And a big thing for this customer was being able to be, right, you've placed your order, now you're going to get an order confirmation come through. Then you're going to get an email when it's with us in production. Then you're going to get an email when it's dispatched. because one of the biggest things that their sales director was very, very keen on was like, I don't want my sales reps sitting at home waiting for a delivery. It's not their job. They're supposed to be out on the road. They're supposed to be able to, you know, do their job. How can we do that? Okay, well, we'll let you know when it's been dispatched, and you know the next working day it's going to be delivered. Done. Everybody was extremely happy with that. You can track, like obviously there's tracking available if you require it, and it's really taking a very muddled, complicated, manual process that they were having with the previous supplier, and then bringing that onto us with the human touch. Obviously they knew they could pick up the phone, speak to the client services team if they weren't sure on something, but having the portal there as literally their own marketing cupboard, should we say. So like if they was in the office, they would literally go and pick out what they wanted, but the platform's there for them to be like, right, okay, I need that, I need that, I need that, add it all into my basket. I know it's going to be with me within the next 48 hours.
I love that. A
72
marketing
hours.
cupboard is
But
literally
I mean,
online marketing cupboard.
That's how they were describing
But you want
it.
to create that ease for your customers, but then also kind of looking at, you know, director level, they want to have full control over those things.
Exactly,
and, you know, by having Infigo, having that capability to kind of put those restrictions, if you like, and workflows in place, it creates a more streamlined workflow process.
100%. And they were, you know, when I was obviously doing the pitch about how great it was and all that, they were like, there's no way you'll be able to get all of this done within 14 days and get us reduced down to 72 hours and all of this. And it was a bit like, watch us kind of thing. And it was, you know, it was really great to be able to say to them, this is what we've promised and now this is what we've delivered. And I actually think we delivered it quicker than what they thought. Yeah. They're still obviously a massive client of ours. They're great. Yeah. We have quarterly meetings with them. Nice. They're very happy with how the process is working through. We were taking, at the very beginning, we were getting a lot of emails from the reps being like, oh, I don't know what to do. Because it's fresh for them. Yeah. It's new, it's change. Everyone's a bit
change management piece is always a big thing, isn't it? Yeah,
everyone's always like, oh, change? What do you mean I can't just send an email at 1 o'clock in the morning and get my print kind of thing? Yeah. So it was talking them through the process, having that human touch, but then being like, right, now go and do it. Now we get maybe one phone call, one email, if that.
So you're removing those touch points for them.
Yeah, because it's just so easy for them to be able to do it from their laptop, from their iPad, from their phone, from wherever they are in the country or in the world, to then purchase their print, purchase their marketing collateral, because they do have a lot of merchandise on there as well, where they can order it, they can see what stock level they've got, they can only buy in 20, like sets of 20s up to a certain value. With obviously the printIQ integration with it as well, they can see live stock, they get their stock reports every week, they get a clear sight of actually what they've got, what they are as a business. They know they're not being overcharged for storage because they can literally see what they've got, and it's not a case of picking up the phone, speaking to Joe Blogs down the road and being like, how many pallets have we got? You can literally see it live, and I think that's a big thing for a lot of customers. They want to see what stock they've got. Does it need to be stock? Can they have it as print on demand? You know, there's no point having 20,000 leaflets sitting there if you're going to change it every quarter and they're not going to get ordered. Have it as print on demand. It's literally as flexible as that. And I think that's what's great about having the Infigo software. It might be stock 1 week, and then within a click of a finger or one phone call, it's changed to print on demand. And that can be done within 48 hours.
You should be so adaptable with it.
Yeah, and I think that is what, you know, makes you stand out from the crowd, because you don't have to reach out to somebody and, you know, hope that they can change it and, oh, I don't quite know if the model that we've purchased does that kind of thing. Whereas with ours, it's a case of, okay, you can have this now, but then we can continually add in other elements to grow with you. Yeah, I love that. And have that flexibility.
This is the thing. And what would you say kind of next steps is for that customer? Where do you see them going, and where do you feel like you can take them?
So I think the next steps for them is going to be having, obviously, a lot more products online, a lot more print on demand products, and a lot more customizable products. So, you know, when they are going to promote their product to the NHS or something like that, they could have that as a presentation pitch on there that they can order, they can print, they can have it personalised, they can take that with them. They can build packs, you know, for seminars that they go to. They can really grow it as much as they want. And I think the system, yeah, that's great for them to have that. They can do all of that. But then outside of everything else is really benefiting how much further they can grow. So looking at all of the reporting, looking at the financials, you know, how much money have you saved? How much pen budget have you saved, kind of thing. And then can they reinvest that budget into having an approval process online, for example? You know, would it be easier to keep control of everything that's happening by having an approval process? Do you need to have that? And really working it through with them. And I think by having that open comms with them, we can step and repeat, but then step and customise at the same time.
Yeah, I love that.
I think watch this space with them for over the next 6 months to really see where they position themselves in the market against, you know, a lot bigger brands.
Yeah.
And how their products can really punch against the billion-dollar companies, kind of thing. So yeah, it's interesting to see and where they're going to go.
Really exciting to hear.
Yeah,
really
definitely.
exciting. Looking forward to hearing more updates on that one for sure.
Me
what
too,
we could
fingers
do.
crossed.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today here at Infigo. It's been a pleasure having you and hearing all the amazing, wonderful things that you're doing with your print suite and also Positive, the clients that you have, how you're being innovative with using portals and using things like Mega Edit to give your customers great personalisation. I'm really excited to see what the future holds for you and in terms of how you're going to be more adaptable, more scalable with those clients. So again, like Sarah says, watch this space.
Watch this space.
And we'll be working alongside with you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been great. And yeah, we can't wait to see where we go in the next 12 to 24 months.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.